Hello and welcome to a new tutorial in which we will introduce comma separated value or CSV file in Python. Comma separated value is a text file that holds data in which the first line is considered the header of the data or of the table. So in general, CSV file is a text file, okay? But it contains data that is separated by comma, and the first line is the header. CSVs are simple and can store data in tabular, store data as tabular database, but here, like without need to an API or a driver to store your database in. So you can store like the simplest form of the data in a CSV file. In a CSV file, each row is conceptualized as a record of the database, and inside each row, the piece of data are separated by comma. Okay, so each value is separated by a comma. Remember here, because CSVs are text file, they don't care about the data type. So it's your mission now to convert the data to our data entries in a CSV file to appropriate form such as a string or integer. When we read the data from CSV file, it's our responsibility to convert it to proper data type. And when there are two subsequent comma in the file, meaning that there is a missing data. Now, CSV is integrated with pandas for data science and data analysis and can easily, or CSV file can easily load it with a panda package or library, but I don't need to speak about pandas now. I want to show you how the CSV module that works in the Python backend or in the pandas backend. Okay, so you go deeper and you know how to handle or deal with CSV files, the original form of CSV file without need for pandas. But for later, we will highlight pandas and its ability in data science and data analysis. But now this series on this playlist is dedicated for smoothing your skills in Python as a development language. Okay, so let's start here. I prepared CSV file, which is for stand for Google stock market, and we have here in the header data open, high, low, close, volume, adjusted the close, and this entries is not mandatory to understand which one. So in the final stage, we will deal with data, with date and the close to have the return. By the way, this data is available in the internet. Here is the link, and this content also available in another YouTube channel. Now, the first thing is to have the path of this. So we will read the file as text file. I think we introduced different tutorials regarding dealing with text files. So go back to know more how to open a text file and add something inside the text file. But here, because CSV files are text file, we want to go directly to open this file and see what is located inside. Then we will go a step deeper to highlight the CSV library. Now, so CSV module, it's a built-in module also. So I want to identify the path, and the path here will be the CSV file that I'm located here. Pay attention for the path if it's located outside the project directory to link that. Right. The first step is to open this file. As what we said, that CSV file are a text file, so we can open this using the context manager. When I say context manager, anything that starts with open like this, this is like designed using the context manager. This is quite advanced level. We will reach to that level later, and you will know how to use the context manager. But I want to open this file, and I because I have the file already, I want to open this in read mode, okay, and we use this F. And now I want to say, for example, CSV equal this F dot read. Here I have three options: either to read the CSV file as a whole file like this. I will print here CSV. Okay, then I managed to read this CSV file, okay, and print this to the screen, okay, and I can do slicing. For example, I can print only the first line, which will show to me the first letter, okay, the first letter of the first object. So I can do, for example, till 6, then it will take, because it's text, it's see it as a text. And but this is not good practice if you want to print line by line. Then we go, for example, for read lines, which is the second option that I want to highlight. I execute this. Then what read line does, it read the text, the CSV file, okay, and it convert each line, each row, this row and this row, it convert this to a list, or sorry, it put this into a list. So this will be the first item of the list, this will be the second item of the list, and etc. So if we say for the list, if you go for the list, we see here, this is the first line, then we have comma, then we have the second line. These commas are already these commas are already located inside this CSV file, but the comma that is come before /n is the items inside the list. Okay, so read lines is read the CSV data and put each row as an item inside the list. Or you can read. So if I want to print the first two lines, so this is a slice index. You will print all data, but I want to print, for example, the first item of the list. It will be this one, which is the header, and I can print also whatever I want. This is, for example, the second item, and it will be this the second item. Now I will close this by highlighting read line. Read line, it is read the first line. Okay, here if I want to send 2, for example, it will read or do slicing. Okay, for the 2 or 3 items, for the first 2 items here we can read the first 3 items. Now I can use with open, okay, you can use the syntax, the context manager to read this, but I can also use this simplest text comprehension like this. I can say row, sorry, I want to add this rows, okay, equal a list, and I want to add the comprehension expression here. It's row for row, okay, with these rows in open what it will open the path, and now I will print rows. Okay, then I converted this to I read the whole text file, and each item I inserted this into a list using the list comprehension. So because it's a list comprehension, so it's like it's text file, it's still text object. These are text objects. I can do the text operation. For example, I can say I want to take the first sample, okay, and this sample it will be rows, the first row, and I will print this just to show you. This is the first item. It's text. So if I want to print the type of this sample, it will show to me it's a string, okay, but because CSV again, it's like it is a text file. I can perform the operation if I want to read that is applies to string. For example, I can use strip to remove any white space if it's exit. Okay, I can use also. So let's print this to see what we can do. Now I have here a comma that separates each word. I can use dot split method. This split method, it will split each word here based in the comma between them and return this into a list of items. So instead of having one line, now I split this. Okay. And remember that we can do a splitting or strip at the reading type. For example, I can say row dot to split, then I can say dot, no, I want to say dot strip, the first thing, then I want to add dot to split based on the comma. Okay, here I have the comma, I have to remove this, and now I don't need this. Okay, so I can print rows. Okay, and I will print the first item of this. It works fine, and this is the third item. And now we converted everything at the reading type. As you can see from this implementation that we can read the CSV file based on the simple reading operations that is applied for text reading or loading. But Python comes with a nicer way to read the CSV file through the CSV module. So I want to import CSV. This is in built-in module. Okay, and usually I prefer to put, and this is like the usual practice, to put the import statement before anything here and list them in the top. Now, what can I do? I want to show you just when I use dir for this CSV, we will list the whole attributes and methods. We will use writer, and there is another method which is a reader, and this reader, these are the main method. Reader, it will read the text file or the CSV text file and convert this to an object, okay, directly. Again, the previous implementation that implies that you will read the text file, then you need to make some operations to string, for example. You have to remove the white space, you have to split the data based on the comma, you have to do another extra pre-processing, but CSV file handle this directly. Now, the first stage here is to read the CSV file that we have. How can I read this? I want to use the reader. So I want to show here, just let's put this here, and I want to have the object here for the variable which is file equal open. I want to open the file. Just open the file. Okay, I want to open the path, and because CSV file is a text file, but the text is separated by comma. Sometimes we will have this expression which is /m, which stands for a new line. We don't need to process this new line, okay? So I can just say a new line equal nothing, okay? If you need to consider the new line, okay, during your calculation or during your conversion, you can have the new line as /n, okay? But here I want to, so you can use /n, but I want to keep this as an empty string. So we open the file. What we will do now, we want to build the reader object, which is CSV.reader. We open the file, we want to read it, okay? And here I want to read the file that I opened, okay? Now I can print this. It's like on demand. This will create to me on-demand object to loop through, which is a generator. We will have, I think, in the next tutorial, we will introduce the generator. The generator is nothing but it's like a programming mechanism that allows me to loop through large pile of data for one time. If I want to loop again inside this object, then it will the data will be erased, and that will be introduced later. And this is efficient way to loop through the large pile of data. Now, if I want to print the reader is a generator object. It's just a memory address, okay? So we will loop through it. How can I loop? I can do this through list comprehension. For example, I will say row for row in reader, and I will print this as you see here. I don't print this. I want to print the data here. Okay, I print data, and as you can see here, okay, we read the CSV file, and each line in the CSV file is directly converted, splitted, okay, and processed to be employed in our project. So instead of just opening the file and converting each string object to appropriate format and blah blah, now we have the CSV file. It directly does the operation. Okay. Now, as you can see here, there is no need to deal with the header. I just need the numerical data to make the preparation. So what I can do, we learn together the next method in the iterator. I can say, for example, here header, and the header it will be the next object of the reader. Okay, and when I say next, then I say move one step. Don't include this is the one line or the first item in the CSV file. Okay, this is like in the simplest form that to introduce to you or to describe this to you. Next, it will skip the first line or the first row. If I have another next, then the second row also will be excluded, but I want to exclude the only header. Now, if I want to print for example, the 0 item, the first item of the list, it will not be the header, and that works fine for me. Now, in this file, as you can see here, okay, I have data, I have date, I have open, high, low, volume, close. Well, date, when I open the file, okay, what I will do? I will use datetime module now to process this. It's text. I want to convert this to date and time object using the datetime module. Now I see here this is a float, this is a float, this is a float, this is a float, this is integer, and this is a float. So I have to convert each line, each item. So I have to make for loop. And inside this for loop, each row of this should be converted to appropriate data format instead of having the list of string only. So now we will convert this to a numerical representation. So you want to use here from datetime, import datetime. Later you will have much more about datetime, but datetime, what it does exactly, it go for the first item for the date and convert this from a string onto a datetime representation. Now we open the file, we have the reader, we skip the header. Now I want to have the data, for example, row. It will be an empty list because I want to convert the data into integer, float, datetime representation, and store the and append them. Now what I will do, I will make for loop for let me to say a row in the reader. Okay. Don't forget to skip the header, otherwise you will have different format and different format because all are string, not the float or integer. So we did next, and so we skipped the first. So the reader now contains only the data, but without the for row. Okay. Now what I will do in this for loop, for row, what the meaning of row? Row is this, each row. So in this row, this row, this row. So as I look to this row, I see that I have datetime object, I have float, later I have integer, then I have a float. So the first thing is to say the date is the datetime object. How can I convert this string, okay, datetime to a string representation? I use string parse time. It's str p time or string parse time, in which will accept the item, which is this, which is located in the row 0. This is row 1, row 0, which is the index, okay, of the location. So it will be the row, yeah, this is row, and this is location 0. Okay, this is the object that will be converted to our parse to time. But I want to add also the shape. What is the shape? The shape will be a string. I can use %m, okay. I can use then slash. I can use %day if I want to have month first, then day, then I have %, then I have slash, then I have %y, like this. Y should be capital for here. So this is the first thing. We loop through each row of the data to convert to the right format. Now we convert this item into datetime format. The second item should be converted to float, and this should be converted to float. So now this name will be the same: open, high, low, close, volume, adjacent, or adjusted close. Now we can say I have the open. The open is a float. But the float of what? Of the row, but the index 2. Then I will make a float of the row of index 1. Okay, not 2, sorry. Then what I will have also, I have date. I will have, let me to say, yeah, this is open. Yeah, it's correct. This is high, which will be a float of row 2. Okay, then we have low and the close. For the low, it will be also a float of row 3. Okay, and what I will have after low, we have a close as what we say. Close, it will be float of row 4. Okay, and we will have the volume, which is this one, and this is corresponding value. It is integer. Okay, this is integer, not the float. Then I have the volume. Okay, this will be integer of the row, and this will be 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are doing well, and we have adjusted the close, and this will be float of the row 6, or can I say is the row -1, which is the last item here. Now I converted using this for loop items here the item of the list from the string to different form. What I will do, I want to append each row inside the list. So it will be data row dot append. What I want to append? I want to append this list because I want to put each group in one list. Each row of item will be inserted in one list. I want to add date. I want to add open. I want to add high. I want to add low. I want to add close. I want to add volume, and I want to add the last one is the adjusted close. Now what I will see here, if I print the data row as it, the whole it is converted now. If I want to print, for example, the first item, if you look here, we converted from string to date type object. This is how can Python see the data representation. Now I have a float. It's not a string. We have no code here. And now I have integer. Now we read a CSV file. We did some operation to that file. I want to add extra operation, and I want to append some data to a new CSV file. What I will do now, what I will do is to create a new CSV file here and append what I will do there. Okay, suppose if you look to this line, it is the adjacent clause or the final clause for the stock market. If I take this is today, okay, this is the month, this is the day, okay, this is today, this is yesterday, this is day before yesterday, okay. Now, if you look, if you want to know in any daily cost application, or if you want to see the profit between 2 days, the profit between 2 days or the return, how you gain or how you lose, you will take what you sold today and what you sold yesterday. You will subtract from each other, and then you will divide to yesterday. Then you will see what is the return that you have, what is the difference. Okay, if it will be half, it will be like a quarter or whatever. Okay, now if today is similar to yesterday, okay, so if your profit yesterday is similar to your profit today, then you have no return, okay, in this case, okay. Now, we will loop through the whole pile of data, but -1. Why -1? Because every 2 rows give us 1 value, which is the return. So the first, this is today, this is yesterday, will give me 1 return. This is yesterday and day before yesterday, and this will give you another return. So I will say, for example, return underscore path is called, let us to say, return.csv. This is a new file I want to write into it. And now I want to open this file and write inside it, and I want to write something inside it. Okay, with open the return.path. But now here I open the file for writing, not like this. Here I just open the file and the default is reading, and I want to write inside this file. Okay, now I have with open this is the return path. Okay, but I have here object here. Sorry for this. I want to run. I have no problem. Okay, with open. Okay, this is the return path. Okay, and I want to write inside this path as f. Then I want to define not reader. Okay, here I define the reader, but I have to define the writer. Okay, then writer. Writer is equal to a CSV object dot writer. Okay, I still have a problem here. Float object is not float object is not callable. Okay, and it seems the error coming from this side. We have open here and we have open here, and we use open, so avoid using the same terminology. So I can say open price here, and I will say open underscore price here. When I execute now, this return CSV here is created. I have no problem now. Okay, what I have to add, I created the writer object. I want to add the header. Okay, so I want to define writer.write. I want to add to write a row. Inside this row, I want to add the date, and then I have comma. Then I want to add the here. If I execute this line, then I have no problem. I have returned the CSV. I have the first item date. Then I have return. Now, what we will do, as I said, that we will loop after creating this CSV file, I have to look for example for I in range, okay, in range this list, okay, but -1, okay, the range of the length, okay, of the data row -1, because I need -1. I cannot compare to every 2 days give me one value. So what I have to do, the first thing I will have to say, I want to say today today row. Okay, so again here, this is today row, this is yesterday row. I want to compare these values together. So today row is the data row which is located and processed in this list, and this will be I, okay, which is the first line. Then I want to use today, not row, but I want to take date, which will be today, the first item, okay, of the today row, okay. Then I want to say today price, which is also the first item of the second item of today row. Okay, so this is today row, and the first item is the date, the last item is the price. What I will do, I will go for another line, I will say it yesterday. So I have yesterday row is equal the data row. The data row again is the processed list here, but it will not be I, it will be I plus 1, okay, which is the next line, I plus 1. Good. And I have the same. I have, instead of the day date, I will say yesterday date, which will be yesterday row of my the 0, which is the first item, and I have yesterday price, which will be yesterday row of 1 or -1, you can say, which is the last one. Now, what is the daily return? Daily, okay, return is the, look at this, what I have in the today price, I want to subtract yesterday the price, and I want to divide by yesterday price. So if today price similar to yesterday price, then this is 0 over yesterday price, which is 0. So I have no change. But if my today price is greater than the yesterday price, then I have positive value over yesterday price. It will show me to which limit the return is better than yesterday. If it's minus, it will show me to which limit the price or the return is bad. Now I will add this in the return, but date here, the date inside this list, if you remember, it is date type object. I cannot write date type object, which is this one. I cannot write to CSV before transferring this to string. What I will do, as in the last stage here, I will say for formatted date equal date type, okay, as the date time we imported it before. We have two methods inside this. One is string parse type, which will take the string and convert this to date time object, or string format type, which will return the process back, which will return the converted date, the date time format to string. Now instead of saying date time to string parse format, already I can say, for example, today date dot strf type. So by passing here only the format, I can convert this. So I will use the same format of reading. Okay, you can do what format you want, but it is better to have the uniform. Okay, now we have everything done. We created the data routine. We have the string format of the day. What are the last string? It stands for writing. Oh, write row. What I will write? I will write two things. The first thing is the formatted date. The last thing is the detail. Okay, which here stands for daily return. When I execute this, I have no error. I open the return CSV, which I created. I will see here. This is the today days. I see here it's better than yesterday. I see for yesterday and day before that it's not the return is not that good. Yeah, that's for today's tutorial. We covered together the CSV module that are combined with Python. Thank you.